Serious. What are some of the most common dark realities people choose to live in denial about? Slavery still exists in many places of the world. Anyone can become disabled at any age at any time. When foster kids turn 18, they are tossed to the streets. To quote Star Trek, "It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life." Sometimes you're the problem. One accident or tragedy can completely flip your life upside down. That our memories are subjective, full of errors and patches in order to maintain a balance in our understanding of events. Some memories are even false, and some memories are so different from other people present at the same events that actions, reactions and outcomes could be entirely opposite from each other. Humans assume that memories are correct all of the time, however they are prone to errors and even change over time. Almost all sexual and physical child abuse occurs in families. Grandpa is much more like to rape his granddaughters and grandsons than the weird stranger down the street. But Grandpa pays the bills, gives out inheritances, covers medical and pish bills. No one is going to come after him, or Uncle Bill, or Cousin George, or Brother Bob, or Daddy or Aunt Kim, or Cousin Susan or Mama. The least likely person in a family of abusers are the grandmothers, and they are simply too tired. The memory of most people's existence will be completely forgotten sooner than you think, even by their own families. I can't even tell you the names of my great-great-grandparents. There could be kidnapping victims suffering from extreme abuse right down the road from you and you'd never know. I work in daycare. There's a lady I used to work with who discovered something like this. She said she went to babysit for a neighbor who she didn't know had a baby. Was told not to go into the baby's room. Did anyway. And discovered an abused child. Who had apparently been with this lady for years. Horrible things happen every day, and the ones we hear about are largely a reflection of self-interest. Just because something lasts a long time like a marriage, or a job doesn't mean it's any good at all. There are lots of reasons that things don't end, some are very bad. Love is not enough. Loving someone enough will not ensure your relationship will be successful. Loving your child enough will not ensure they love you back or that they live a good life. Illness and disability are not a moral or lifestyle failure and can befall anyone at any time. Even you. One thing wakes me up every night. The fear that I might lose everyone in blink of an eye. My friend lost his entire family in an accident and a year later he passed away from depression. Under the right circumstances, anyone is capable of anything. That fucking up the planet isn't going to kill us off, but make life hell for centuries if not millennia. Toxic relatives. Just because they have your blood doesn't mean they are good for you or that you have to stay there. Good things can happen to bad people. They can live the best of lives and sleep soundly at night. They could live their entire lives and die without ever being held responsible for anything they've done. Millions of horrible people have lived and died and no one will ever know of the horrors they've been a part of. Meanwhile, horrible things can happen to good people. In the grand scheme of things, there is no universal morality or justice. Most people don't get what they deserve except in movies. That a majority of us are completely utterly ordinary people, and that's okay. Just because people aren't suicidal don't mean they don't want to be dead. You will die. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, and maybe not even this year, but someday death will take your hand and guide you into the great beyond. For many of us, making peace with death is one of the simplest yet most difficult things to do. That you can also alter your memories to believe your own lie if you think about it enough. Gen X is in serious trouble when it comes to paying for retirement. Alcohol has me by the balls, makes my life worse, puts undue stress on my family, and will probably be the death of me. But in my mind, I find a way to justify it every day. Most new houses are overpriced trash. Sometimes, it doesn't get better. Incest is more common than you think, and not a funny joke. You very likely know at least one survivor of incestual abuse. Edit. I wish I hadn't made this comment. Some of you lack tact and it's hurtful. When coffins are buried in a cemetery, they're placed inside a sealed vault 6 feet under, some of which come with an 80-year, or more, warranty against moisture penetration and structural failures. Even though some people pay extra for the 80-year vault warranty, does anyone actually dig up the cemetery plot at 80 years to see if warranty issues are applicable? You will lose everyone you've ever known and cared about either to the end of the relationship, your death, or theirs. We only borrow the people we love for a short time. That you're most likely to be raped and or killed by someone you know. Women especially worry a lot about strangers hurting them, which is understandable, but strangers aren't as dangerous as people you know. Because your boyfriend, friend or coworker is much more likely to harm you. Which is scary as fuck, because those close to us are the people we're supposed to be able to trust. Most, if not all governments, are corrupt. Some are just A. not as corrupt as others, and or B. infinitely better at hiding it. Political parties or left, right aside. All of them. People, children have been kidnapped and are being held hostage and brutally abused by monsters. There are parents beating, starving, and assaulting their own children. Also, we are all really going to die and none of us really knows what the fuck that even means. There isn't someone for everyone and some of us will die alone. Not everyone will reproduce and carry on their line. Illegal organ harvesting of people including children is a rampant black market industry in many third world countries. Hoarders usually just think they need everything or refuse to acknowledge the mountain of garbage is a problem. It's really quite depressing to see family and friends who are in this situation. The clothes you wear and buy for $50 really cost close to $5 and are manufactured by slaves. The number of innocent people in prison. The psychological effects of childhood abuse. So many people will say, I had X done to me and I turned out fine, but most of the traumas from this aren't apparently obvious unless someone snaps and becomes a statistic. Even then, the role that the abuse had may not even be brought to attention. Worse still, the abuse just becomes normalized and passed down from generation to generation, and no one is the wiser unless a child winds up dead or hospitalized. Any comfort you have today is probably at the cost of slave labor, child labor, dead bodies outsourced to other countries. Every corporation will choose saving 5 cents on the cost price even if it means a larger frequency of dead bodies in another country. Be it raw materials for electronics, manufacturing new clothes or even fucking packaging for a packet of chips, it's all killing more people. I hope we reach a point where we can ethically source materials, but even the definition of ethical is shady in third world countries. Mental health issues are not cute, funny or quirky. Being called a psycho is no compliment. Depressions aren't just a phase, schizophrenia is not just hearing weird noise sometimes, anxiety and panic attacks are not just 5 seconds of a flip out and everything is fine again. Mental health issues are real and not to be taken lightly, it's not just a phase. If you need help, please reach out to someone, talk to them. Let them help you. There's not just that one way out. You can and will have good days again. There is a permanent underclass of people that do all the jobs no one else wants to do. Their alcoholism. It's incredibly scary how many people go home after work and have 4+ drinks a night, every night. Then they deny that it's a problem because they don't feel buzzed or don't drink past that. Nobody wants to face the reality that perhaps the drinking is a problem. Privacy basically doesn't exist anymore. The human species isn't meant to last forever. The universe is over 13 billion years old. The Earth is over 4 billion years old and humans have only been around 6 million, if you count our ancestors, 300,000 if you just count Homo sapiens. We weren't the first species and we will not be the last to walk this planet. You're about 2-3 bad decisions away from being homeless. Reading through these comments, a dark reality is that Redditors actually believe that they know the meaning of the universe. If there's an afterlife, how the world will end. When, in all honesty, we really don't know a damn thing of what will happen in the future, it's all posturing and opinionated guessing, me included. People always say things will work out, or that there are better times around the bend. But that is not the case for everyone. Sometimes it just keeps getting worse. That sometimes comeuppance is a myth and evil can triumph. That a huge factor in life is not hard work but luck. The war on terrorism killed many times more innocent civilians than actual terrorists. The CIA killed many innocents to only later admit they had no involvement with terrorist organization. No compensation was made to their devastated families.